This is the second video associated with question 5 in suspense, where we start looking at the provision for bad debts, which is something we haven't seen before. So again, I'm going to give you an example. So we have a debtor here, and our debtors have a balance of 23 grand. That means our debtors owe us 23 grand. When somebody goes bankrupt and we lose the money, so we'll have an expense. So we'll have a credit in that account, and we'll call it bad debts. So we're not going to get €1,000 from this person. So now our balance CD goes down to 22 grand. And we'll have 1 grand in this expense account called bad debts. And we'll write debtors. Okay. So now the realistic figure that we're actually going to get 22 grand. We're expecting to get 22 grand from our debtors. And we have a new expense called a grand. Now, that means that every time that somebody goes bankrupt, we react to that by creating a new expense. But in reality, it's probably a better idea to be a bit more conservative and anticipate bad debts when they happen. So we have a liability account called provision for bad debts, which we use to reduce the amount we expect to receive from our debtors. We know from experience, if I just cancel this expense that we have there for a second, we know from experience that people go bankrupt all the time. So what we're going to do is, instead of expecting to receive 23 grand, we're going to expect to receive a little bit less than that. So let's say, if we said we expect to receive €1,000 less than that, okay? So we're going to have a new liability with €1,000 in it, and this is going to be used to reduce the amount we expect from our debtors. When I go to do my current assets in my balance sheet, I'm going to have debtors. And the real figure for debtors, okay, that I have at the moment is 23 grand, and I'm going to take away bad debt provision of €1,000. So the real figure that I have for my debtors is going to be 22 grand. That's how it's going to look when I go to do my balance sheet. So I want to create my bad debt provision. So bad debt provision is where I anticipate, I expect that I am going to lose out on some debts or some money that I expect from my debtors. So I'm going to not wait for them to become a bad debt, but I'm going to expect it and anticipate it as a bad debt. So I'm going to create a bad debt provision of €1,000. And I'm going to call it bad debt provision. So I'm providing for a bad debt of €1,000. And this is a brand new one. I'm going to put it in, and there's bad debts. I'm going to put it in as €1,000. If I realise, because of COVID, for example, I'm expecting to receive a lot less now than I thought, I might decide to increase my bad debt provision. So I might have a balance of 1,000, and I'll increase it even more. And that's all done. I adjust it by using my bad debts account. So that's how we deal with provision for bad debts. In our general journal, we would have a debit in the bad debts account, and we would have a credit in the provision for bad debts, which is a liability account. Okay, I hope that makes sense to you.